And we're going back to a position now where university dorms are being racially segregated, where people are only shopping at businesses that share their racial tribal affiliations. There's a woman who was very upset because she went into a boba tea place. Boba tea. You know boba tea? It's that tea that has those weird little balls in it, and you kind of, I don't know, it's kind of nice. Anyway, it's an Asian beverage. Woman walks into this store, which is run by Asians, and she's very upset because the boba tea place is not a black-owned business. Take a listen.
This establishment is not black-owned, but you're stealing black culture. Is this not black culture? Trap tea, the boba plug? No, you're thieves. Asian people stealing black culture once again. It's okay, you'll be exposed though. You're not black-owned. You're stealing black culture.
Thank you for coming.
Black culture.
Thank you for coming.
No, I came here because I thought it was black-owned. That's why I came here. I told my friends I'm supporting a black business. This is not black-owned. This is not black-owned. Asians stealing black culture. Once again, you're a coon. Don't talk.
I'm a coon.
I came
But
here
yet you already spent
because I didn't know it was black-owned.
You already spent money on them.
I already did.
Because I'm tired of people.
Because you're a coon.
Okay, so it goes on from there. I think you get the idea. She's arguing at the end with this black guy who says, hey lady, you're in an Asian joint. Why are you screaming about how it's not a black-owned business? And then she calls him a racial slur because he doesn't have his tribal solidarity, which the Democrats are trying to gin up because they think it's the only way they can win the election. I think I'm going to walk into General Tso's Chinese Chicken Palace and demand that it become a Sicilian-owned business. Why is this Chinese joint not Sicilian-owned? I only eat at Sicilian-owned businesses. I probably wouldn't be able to eat at very many places if I only went to Sicilian-owned businesses, right? But one of the nice things about America is we don't have to check someone's racial pedigree before we go in and buy a sandwich or a cup of iced tea. But that's the point that the left wants us to get to. By the way, what does it mean to be a black-owned business? Because it's not just this kooky lady who goes into the shop. This is not some fringe thing. Uber Eats was giving special privileges to black-owned businesses. You didn't have to pay a delivery fee if you ate at a black-owned business. They were actually giving out privileges based on race. Well, you know, what if your business, say, gives equity to 5 people, and someone who owns 1% of the business is black, and then the people who own the other 99% of the business are like the whitest people in the world? Is that a black-owned business? A black guy owns part of it. How are we going to do? What if it's a guy who's half black and half Jewish? I don't know. How is that going to work? How are we going to plug that into the racial victimhood calculator and figure out exactly how much of that business we should shop at? Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. What it boils down to here, what this woman's argument is that it's cultural appropriation. Now, I don't think that boba tea comes from Africa or from, you know, the American plantation before the Civil War or something like that, but she's calling it cultural appropriation. Even if the point she were making, even if the premise that boba tea is somehow black, even if that were true, cultural appropriation is a very good thing. In fact, all culture has to be appropriated. This is a big lie that the left doesn't seem, probably they don't understand it because they don't know what culture is. Culture relates to the word cultivation, relates to the word cult, for instance, right? You cultivate something in yourself. I was not born loving Beethoven. Believe it or not, even though, you know, I don't think my mother ever played baby Beethoven for me. Now I think some like bourgeois white mothers do this in the cities. They play Beethoven to their stomachs and they think their kids are going to become really smart and sophisticated this way. I did not have that. I was not born listening to Beethoven. But I like Beethoven very much. Why? Because I cultivated that taste. I was not born smoking cigars. I may as well have been because I started at an early age. But I cultivated that taste. I cultivated my appreciation of certain art, cultivated my appreciation of certain literature. I was not born reading Italian. Is that cultural appropriation? I guess it is, but it's great because now I get to read Dante. All culture is appropriated. It's, by the way, the premise of immigration and assimilation in America. We have we have a ridiculously open immigration system in America, which most people, by the way, want to dramatically curtail across racial groups. But part of the reason we have any functioning immigration system at all is based on assimilation, that you have to come in and appropriate the American culture. And you have to give up some culture, too, when you do that. What this woman is saying is, no, we're going to have a pedigree test, we're going to check your blood, see exactly what percentage black you are. Cultural appropriation is really good. Who invented pasta? Speaking of the Italians. Was it the Italians? We actually don't know. Was it the Italians? Was it the Chinese? Was it somewhere in the middle? We don't know. We just like it. It's good. I'm glad. Now everybody has pasta. It's cultivating oneself. But we're not allowed to have that. We're moving in the opposite direction. We have a completely degraded culture, and the culture is decaying more and more by the day. And we have, at the same time, coincidentally, divvying up racial groups. I hope you enjoyed that short segment from The Michael Knowles Show. Be sure to check out the full episode linked in the description or download the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts.